get out your notebooks, your whatever you have to write with, because we're going to do a little bit of writing stuff first before we get to the improv.
I have extra notebooks. I think Chris has extra pens.
Yeah, if anybody needs.
Document? My handwriting is atrocious, so I can't read it myself.
Oh, so is mine. Especially when I'm taking notes. Like, I'll know what
I like
that
to
means.
say, what did I write?
The older I get, the worse it looks.
Yeah, I don't have any paper.
You know what, also,
You don't have any? Okay.
Everybody was like sort of
You need a pen too?
standing and facing the camera and just waving and jumping around. You guys will be able to shift 90 degrees to
Yep, just keep it.
like that, like if you're all facing the camera directly. That way if you have any questions or anything like that, I'll see a loudly raised hand.
There.
And I don't know how good all you guys
Also, you
vision
don't want
is.
to hear my 10-month-old baby crying. And, you know, it's great.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Babies. Alright.
So, just a second, Tim. Cameras, everything is rolling. We're good? Okay. Tim, if you want to go ahead and give us kind of a, whenever you're ready, introduce what the class is and everything and kick things off. We're ready to go.
Excellent. All right. So, hi, everybody. My name is Tim Soszko. Thank you all for having me. Thanks, Daryl, for inviting me to do this. What we're going to cover tonight and hopefully next week as well is varying both writing and revising, but improvisational ways of creating sketch comedy. So if you've ever done any sort of sketch classes before, some of these things may sound familiar to you. And this is my way of doing it. It's a way that I've learned, a way that I've practiced, a way that I've taught, sort of my way of doing things, which is pretty much just everybody else's way, but combined in a different way and made, put with my own little touches on it. So please ask questions if you have them, because I don't know if, I can't read all your minds, so let me know if you have any questions. Can we go down the road? The guy with hat, you're on my left. Can you all give me your names?
I'm Lestat Escobedo.
Lestat, okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you.
You're next.
We're doing
And
introductions?
then, yeah, just names, is fine.
I'm Melissa.
I'm sorry, say again?
Melissa.
Okay, so,
Melissa?
Tim, Melissa, he couldn't hear you.
Melissa.
Raise your voice just a
Right,
little bit.
okay.
Everybody, make sure we do that.
John Fitzhugh.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting some lag on this. Sorry, everybody.
John Fitzhugh.
Thank you.
You?
Fitzhugh.
His name is John Fitzhugh.
John Fitzhugh, thank you.
Love it.
Who is this in this corner here?
Is that Kevin? I think that's our interpreter.
23, maybe you can help me with it when there's lag. I cannot hear.
Yeah, if I'm correct, after John, it is, I just met him, last time we were at the Rand building.
Yep.
I'm gonna skip the man in the middle for a moment, but that's Tony Aguilera, after the man in the middle. And then that's Natalie next to Tony Aguilera. You already know Daryl. I don't know the guy in the striped shirt though.
So this is Chris.
I don't know him.
I'm Jay.
You're Jay, excellent.
And the man in the middle is Chris.
That's Chris.
Chris.
Yeah.
Chris is in the middle, great. So we got Jay striped shirt, we got Lestat hat, we got Melissa not there, we got John, Chris, Tony, Natalie, Daryl. Am I right?
Sounds good?
Excellent. Okay, great. That was a fun improv warm-up name game thing. Great. Let's get to it. So the first thing I'm going to tell you guys about is can I share my screen? That's what I wanted to ask. Can I share my screen with you guys or no?
We're across the room from a laptop. It wouldn't be, if you could do this without doing that, we're not set up really for that.
I gotcha. Okay, so right now I'm just a tiny head.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a talking
Great,
speaker.
great. All right. So even if I like put something up to the laptop, you guys won't be able to see it. This is good to know. So in this case, really, like, if you have a question, let me know because, or if I can move on or that sort of, I can go back and clarify something. Please feel free to do so. Ask me about that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
We're going to do the 3 great inequalities of writing.
That's perfect, Bob.
And when we're talking about the improv aspect of this, it doesn't matter as much, although you guys will probably recognize some of these things. Where we get into it is where we start writing, where we've improvised and re-improvised and re-improvised enough until we get to a place where we're actually scripting something, we're actually putting it down on paper to then be printed and then be, dispersed and turned into an actual sketch. Because once we hit that place, we don't usually, at least this is kind of how I'm teaching it, we don't go back. We don't sneak in extra improvisation unless we specifically have room for improvisation within the sketch, but we'll get there if we get there. Okay, so 3 great inequalities of writing. The first great inequality of writing is quantity is greater than quality. This does not mean that quality is not important, but there's just that little alligator that says that quantity is greater than quality. And so the best example I can think of that is my own wonderful failure, which is I wrote a sketch comedy pilot, and then we filmed it, and we were shopping it around. And pretty much everybody we shopped it around to, or that answered us, that got back to us, said, what else can you write? Can you do sitcom spec scripts? Can you do drama? Can you do this? Can you do that? And we were like, no, we're doing sketch comedy. Here's our thing. We do sketch comedy. And that's what we do. Everybody asked us if we could write more. Because what I discovered later on, unfortunately, is that they want somebody that can write a lot. They want somebody that can show them many, many possibilities as opposed to just one. I thought that sketch comedy show was fantastic. I thought the quality was amazing. It didn't necessarily matter. They wanted quantity. I thought I had quality. Quantity is greater than quality.
Guys, I'm gonna have to drop out for a bit. I'm 5% on battery. My battery's almost up. I'll be right back.
Bye, legend. See you soon. So, how many 10 scripts is greater than 1 script? Let's put it that way. The second great inequality of writing is process is greater than product. The way you write, the way you go about writing, whatever you're writing, with sketch comedy, lyrics for songs, poetry, short stories, your process is greater than your product. Doesn't mean the product is not important, just means that the way you do it is more important. So if you get up every day and you write for 10 minutes, you do free writing or journaling for 10 minutes, and then you do brainstorming for 15 minutes, and then you sit down to write a sketch, and you're saying to yourself, okay, I gotta write a sketch every day. Great. Do you finish that sketch? Do you get lots of ideas from that brainstorming? Who cares? The product doesn't matter as much as the process. And then finally, the third great inequality of writing is perseverance is greater than talent. And I know that there are, Michael Jordan arguably is the greatest basketball player of my generation. Arguably, let's not get into it right now. But arguably, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of my generation. I know that there are other people out there who are better than him, who didn't have the chances he did, didn't work as hard as he did, didn't sell himself as much as he did, didn't continue to try out as much as he did, didn't push himself and his team as much as he did. His perseverance greatly outweighed his talent. His talent is important. His God-given talent. He was born and he was going to be a basketball star. We get it. Great, that's fantastic, but not as important as his perseverance. quantity over quality, process over product, perseverance is greater than talent. Questions, comments, concerns? Throwbacks at my face to say, fuck you, Tim, you're not right. Is there a cool me swearing? Because I swear. Is that all right? Yeah? All right.
Yeah, we're good. We're all adults here.
Suck it, Polish boy. Actually, nobody wants to rewrite any qualities. Here's why. Anybody?
Progi?
John, you got something? No?
Just wanted a progi, that's all.
Oh, yeah. For me, I'll just say so far, just those 3 ideas alone, there's a lot to unpack of all of that. So I'm soaking it all up.
Great. Okay. Yeah, now I'm like, oh man, should I say more about that? But no, I'll move on. If anybody has questions, we'll go back. Okay, see, I can teach you guys like writing and different ways of brainstorming, and that's good for writing, but we're gonna really try to stick with the improv to sketch aspect of this. So let's just go right to 5-point structure. And the 5-point structure for sketch comedy is for almost the exact same as it is for most storytelling structure. The words you hear me use and the terms that I'm going to say, you've probably heard before, and if not, you are practicing it, currently. I may name something different, but I'll explain it. Write it down however you best get it. So 5-point structure. Oh, and this is a 5-point structure that so much sketch comedy follows, that so much sketch comedy is really good at, and I find it highly important to know this, if only so to be able to break it when I want to break it, to break this particular structure or bend it or whatever. You got to learn this structure first, in my mind. So the 5-point structure. Number 1 of this 5-point structure is your setup or your situation. So what is normal when you're showing this to an audience? What is normal about the reality that you are doing this sketch in? So your who, what, where, right? If this was a movie, it'd be exposition, right? We need some backstory. We need some basics. What regularly happens? That's going to be the first part of your sketch dialogue. Now, when we're writing out a 5-point structure, there's no dialogue in it. It's just ideas. It's kind of bullet point. It's relatively simple so that you can adjust it and change it later on without having to rewrite your entire sketch. So the first is your setup or your situation. Maybe everybody has seen Harry Potter. Yes?
Right.
The first Harry Potter?
Of course.
No?
No.
Yeah.
You're all frozen right now
Yes.
on my end.
No.
Please stop.
What?
You
I
hurt
like-
my heart.
Not in the Potter.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to be into it, but
I
you
just no.
Go
I
ahead.
can
Go ahead.
hear you a little bit, but I can't. Yeah, Everybody's frozen.
We're frozen.
Oh, hell.
Everybody looks like they're paying attention and like writing stuff. And just like I'm really interesting. But
Now's the time to goof off.
you
Can't see us.
I can only hope it'll catch up soon.
Okay, cool. So I'll just tell you what happens in Harry Potter. Let's say that, all right? What's our situation, our setup? What is normal in that world? We know that Harry Potter lives under the stairs of his aunt and uncle, and he's an orphan, and he is physically and emotionally and mentally abused by his aunt and uncle and cousin. That weird things always happen around him. But he just has hand-me-downs, and he's a poor, he's a poor orphan with a lightning scar and taped glasses, right? We can all agree on that. That is the situation or a setup of Harry Potter. Yay. The second point in our 5-point structure is what some people say is the conflict. I don't like saying conflict because it immediately implies an adversarial thing, or a problem. Not to say that you can't have a problem, but you can't have adversarial scenes. That's phenomenal. Do that forever. A lot of comedy in that. But a lot of times that leaves out, at least for me, that leaves out journeys, that leaves out discoveries, treasures to be found, right? Or more positive aspects. So instead of saying conflict, I like to say the introduction of the scenic issue. Sometimes people say first turning point, whatever you want to write down, just so long as you know that this is a moment where something in the reality that we have already explained, something out of the ordinary happens. Something that was not expected, or something that is new, something that nobody is expecting. Because let's say it was, Harry Potter wakes up and they go, hey Harry, guess what? You're gonna be beaten and tortured and bullied today. That's just normal. That's part of his normal life. Wouldn't be anything different. But the introduction of our scenic issue in Harry Potter is, for me, it is action and reaction, or what do they call that?
Cause and effect?
Shoot, what am I saying here?
It'll come to him.
Yeah. We
When
can
the
hope.
lights-
No, let's just stick with action and reaction. That's good enough. So, Hagrid busts into Harry's life and says, Harry, you're a wizard. And his reaction to it is, wow, that's awesome. Tell me more. We need both of those things in our introduction of scenic issue. We have to know how the characters are feeling about whatever it is that enters into their world. So whatever's normal gets broken, or something new is added, or a discovery takes place that they did not see before, and now the story really opens up from here. Also, that action reaction, or cause and effect, whatever you want to say, sets the table for what we are going to continue to do and what we will continue to heighten as the scene progresses. The third part of the 5-point structure is the rising action. This is the longest section of dialogue in the 5-point structure is the rising action. And all we're doing with the rising action is raising the stakes. It's almost like we're revisiting our scenic issue, but it means more to the characters. It gets more importance. If it is a silly, ridiculous introduction of scenic issue, it'll get more silly. If it is something dangerous, things get more dangerous as the rising action continues, as the stakes continue to get raised. We always want to heighten. We always want to be taking things to the next level in the rising action. Because the moment where we're like, yeah, this is more exciting, and now the excitement just stays here. As soon as you plateau, it's gone, people start checking their watches, nobody cares anymore. The rising action in, let's go back to Harry Potter. Rising action in Harry Potter is a whole bunch of things, right? He goes to Diagon Alley. He learns more about his parents. He meets friends. He meets enemies. He goes to school. He takes classes. He gets on the Quidditch team, and he's a seeker. And isn't that great, right? Things get more exciting, more adventurous, and more wacky because Ron has got red hair and he's poor. So it just keeps going. Things keep progressing. Until things can't progress anymore. They get so exciting, they get so ridiculous, they get so adventurous, they get so whatever, that we hit number 4, the climax.